Hey, what's up, Lorain County baseball and softball fans? Welcome back to another episode of Diamond Chat, brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. I'm Rocco Nucci, your host, with the one and only Kristen Bauer behind the camera. Before we get started, as always, got to remind you to like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. It's the best way to stay up to date with all the latest video drops, the latest content, and so much more right at your fingertips there at the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. So again, like, subscribe, turn on that little notification icon. You'll be all set to go with the latest content. So what the heck happened in the past week? Well, we got to start with softball, right? The Priebus Memorial Classic taking place Friday, a bit rained out. Not a bit rained out, it was rained out as a matter of fact. So we had one game canceled on WEOL, but that's okay. We still got two on the air Saturday, as it was an awesome Saturday at the Priebus. So let's go over what happened as Keystone and Amherst squared off. That was our opener on WEOL. Now, this was a bit of a change. Originally, it was supposed to be Keystone in St. Vincent, St. Mary. But St. V eventually had to drop out of the tournament. They had some injuries with their pitchers specifically, so they were unable to make the trip. So Amherst takes on Keystone. And how about this, folks? The Comets hand the Wildcats their first loss of the season at the Priebus. They knock off Keystone 4-2 was the final score. And really the star of the show was none other than Kristen Kelly. She had a solo home run in the contest. She had a really heads-up base running play to break the 2-2 tie later on in the game, and it was just kind of no looking back from there. Sierra Dorbick was awesome on the from the circle, I should say, for the Comets. 3 strikeouts, no walks for Sierra. Delaney Peters was brilliant once again for Keystone on the other side of the equation. She had 11 strikeouts, but not quite enough as Keystone falls to Amherst. So shout out to the Comets. Handing Keystone their first loss of the season. Amherst eventually fell in their second game at the Priebus 7-3 to Canfield. Another game you heard on WEOL. That was Keystone's only Priebus game, the first one against Amherst. Elsewhere at the Priebus, how about this? Midview, they upset Mansfield-Madison, the 4th-ranked Division II team in the state, according to last week's rankings. The final score there was 15-8, and Midview was down late in this ball game, folks. They were down 8-6 in the 7th, but Midview rallies for 9 runs to hold on for the win. Nina Ballacino, she got the party started in the 7th with the home run. The next 2 batters got out, though, so it was really the danger zone there for Midview, but Brianna Farkas, an RBI double, scoring McKenna Ruoff to tie the game. Leah DeFranco had an RBI single to give the Middies the lead, and they never really looked back from there. Again, a 9-run 7th inning for Midview to upset the 4th-ranked Division II team in the state, Mansfield-Madison. Midview would fall in their second game, though, to Northwestern 12-2. They were up 2-0 in that one, just didn't have enough to finish it off. 2 hits for Leah DeFranco in that one. Elsewhere at the Priebus, North Ridgeville, they also handed Madison an upset loss as North Ridgeville knocked them off. Gabby Thibodeau had a triple and an RBI double. Brendan Dillon had 2 singles and 2 RBIs. And how about Autumn Belke? She came on to relief pitch in that game. She really shut down that Madison offense, allowing just 2 hits. She had 7 strikeouts in 3 innings of work. So shout out to North Ridgeville and Midview representing the SWC well. Both handing losses to the number 2 or the number 4 ranked team in the state on the Division II level. Elsewhere at the Priebus, not so great for Avon. They go 0-1, and Columbia, Elyria Catholic, Elyria, and Brookside all go 0-2. So really it was the SWC showing out in a strong way at the Priebus Memorial Classic, and that was pretty much it on the softball side of things. In baseball, some really good non-conference action this past weekend. Keystone knocked off Elyria 8-3 on Saturday. Victor Vilches had a really nice day on the mound for the Cats. He went 6 innings, striking out 3 Pioneer batters. Offensively, Vilches contributed as well, along with Jack Civic and Dominic Wrights. They each had multi-hit games. And Amherst on the baseball side had a nice weekend as well. They shut out Menor 10-0 in a game that was called by mercy rule in the 5th. Freshman Harrison Schneider, folks, watch out for this kid on the mound for the Comets. He was absolutely dynamite, a 5-inning no-hitter for the freshman. So shout out to Harrison Schneider for his efforts this past weekend. Offensively, John Kane, Henry Isaacs, and Jonathan Williams each had 2 RBIs for the Comets. So that was pretty much it as far as the high school action went this past week. Weather not super cooperative, but that's how it goes here with spring sports in Northeast Ohio. As that brings us to this week's College Corner, where if you don't know, we take a look back at a former Lorain County standout and see what they're doing now at the collegiate level. And the focus this week, she's on the front of this Forecast magazine, folks. Indiana's Cassidy Kettleman, a graduate last year from Amherst. Pretty much first team all everything, right? First team all Lorain County, all SWC, Division I player of the year, obviously co-Lorain County Miss Softball with Annika Burdell. So really just an awesome, career for Cassidy Kettleman at Amherst, batting .623 in her senior year. Her and Annika are the only two girls ever in the county to finish with career batting averages over 600. So what is she doing now at Indiana? Well, she's doing a lot. Offensively, not as great, just hitting .262 this season. But I'll tell you what, folks, defensively, you want to follow this Indiana softball account, but it's because it's like weekly. Cassidy is posting a defensive highlight somehow, some way. She can play all over the field. She had a crazy up against the wall catch earlier this year against Minnesota that kind of went viral a bit on social media. So Cassidy Kettleman having an awesome career so far at Indiana. She is the focus of this week's College Corner. So what's coming up the rest of this week and weekend? We'll start with what's on WEOL. Well, actually, before we get to that, got to tell you, softball tournament brackets are officially out. The sectional and district matchups are officially out on the OHSAA website. Our WEOL broadcast schedule as far as the tournament goes will be coming soon, but make sure you check out the OHSAA website there for that. Thursday night, a bit of a TBA right now as Brookside was set to take on Open Door. A bit of a change, though. Brookside having to get in a conference matchup, so we're still not entirely sure what will be happening Thursday on WEOL. Friday, some changes here as well heading into the weekend. As Elyria Catholic and Columbia originally scheduled for Saturday, that one is scratched. So Friday, we'll have Rocky River at Elyria Catholic, 5 o'clock baseball game on WEOL. And then Saturday morning, Keystone will be at Columbia, 11 a.m. first pitch. So again, Friday night, 5 o'clock, Rocky River at EC. And then Saturday morning, Keystone is at Columbia at 11 a.m. Both of those games on WEOL. And elsewhere outside of our broadcast schedule, there's some really good SWC matchups early next week. Amherst and Avon will meet up, as well as North Ridgeville and Avon Lake. A couple of teams battling for position there at the top of the SWC. So there's pretty much a look at what's coming up on WEOL and elsewhere in Lorain County. So that'll do it for this week's episode of Diamond Chat. For Kristen Bauer behind the camera, I am Rocco Nucci saying thank you again for listening to Diamond Chat, brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. We'll see you guys next week.